Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you all this Friday morning. Seems like time has just been speeding up lately, but yeah, we have got through another week and ready for the weekend. So just want to say TGIF, positive vibes to everybody. And now that we got that all out the way, as we all know, the Lakers suffered a loss last night to the Boston Celtics, which did not come as much of a surprise considering how Boston has been playing such good basketball on their Western Conference road trip. So we all know the Lakers had a road trip of their own out east, but during that time, Boston had a road trip of their own out west. And let me tell you, they was looking pretty good on their road trip, and they continued to look good last night as they took on another Western Conference foe, and that of the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, of course, we know the Lakers, what is new, were very short-handed. So, of course, they've been without LeBron and Anthony Davis for, several weeks now. And, of course, Andre Drummond, come to find out that his toe was stepped on again in the Brooklyn game, I believe, on Saturday, and it's just start to swell up and just give him more problems. And that toe is something that's very lingering, and I just wish that he could just take enough time off to where it could heal up pretty good so he won't have any setbacks come playoff time. But unfortunately, with the Lakers schedule the way it is right now, it'll be tough to keep sending him and think that you're still going to have a chance to come out and win a basketball game. So with that being said, first let's get to the good news that Anthony Davis has been cleared for full contact. He has finally been cleared to play full contact practice in practice, full contact, and not just shoot arounds and drills. So with all that being said, Vogels did say that Anthony Davis will more than likely be back, probably not one of the Utah games, which we'll get into that in just a moment, but the game after Utah, which if I am not mistaken is against Dallas, which there's going to be a pretty tough slate of games for the Lakers coming up. So it'll be great to have Anthony Davis back. He did say once Anthony Davis came back in either the second Utah game or the game after, which I believe is against Dallas on that Thursday, if he does, he will only be playing 15 minutes, which is not a lot of minutes at all. But they just want to kind of slowly get him back in, and I can understand that. So with all that being said, speaking of Utah, this is going to be a very tough test for the Lakers because, just to be honest, I don't really have a lot of faith in the way that the Lakers are playing, that they will win either of those games, the 1-1 against home and away against Utah for Saturday and for Monday. Because Utah, of course, as we know, are the number one team in the West and are playing great basketball. And the Lakers are just dealing with a tremendous amount of injuries. So, of course, we all know, like I just said, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, but also Drummond's toe is flaring up on him again. And then Dennis Schroeder is dealing with a foot infection. I don't know what the Lakers training staff is doing. I just don't know what's going on with the Lakers' feet. But they might need to go see somebody and get something taken care of, because there's a lot of foot issues going on with the Lakers right now as far as Anthony Davis tendinosis or whatever you call it. And, now Schroeder has an infection on his heel. I mean, damn, bro. Is you walking around outside barefoot? Are you wearing sandals? Like, what is going on? Now you got an infection in your foot, and you could tell last night that his burst of speed just wasn't quite there. I do love his tenacity to dive to the floor to get loose balls, which he showed last night that he's still willing to do that. Even Marcus Gasol surprised me at one point when there was a bad pass that could have been a backcourt or still that led to a fast break. He sacrificed his body to go down. Then the guy come try to rip the ball out of his hand and end up popping Marcus Gasol's finger out of place. But he got it taped up and he stayed. So that's just yet another injury to add on to the Lakers. I don't know what's going on. But not only Dennis Schroeder, then KCP He was dealing with some injuries last night as well too, having back spasms. So I mean, between his back spasms, Schroeder foot, Andre Drummond toenail, LeBron ankle, and Anthony Davis, I mean, it's just going to be a tough slate for the Lakers. Now, with all that being said, if you look up at the standings, that's what I'm saying. There's no need for concern just yet. I would prefer the Lakers to stay out of that play-in game. I'm not saying that I would be worried if they fell into that, but I would not really want them to have to be a part of that play-in game, because you just never know what could happen. But the way I look at it is this. So Portland, I think these next two games, if the Lakers lose to Utah Saturday and on Monday, if they lose both of those games, well, Portland is going to be playing San Antonio and Charlotte during that time. So bad roll of the dice for the Lakers as far as scheduling and timing of the seasons and the injuries right now. So the Lakers could easily, slide down into Portland's spot and move from 5th to 6th. And then, of course, Dallas is lingering right behind them as well. And that's why I really needed and wanted Memphis to have that win the other night when Luka Doncic made that hell of a three-point shot at the end to win the game. But the thing about that is, while Portland is going to be playing San Antonio and then Charlotte, then they have to turn around, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, they're going to have to play Memphis as a 1-1 back-to-back. And I'm telling you right now, that's not going to be an easy game for Portland to win, just because of the way they match up. And if Memphis comes out and play the way I know they are capable of playing, especially on the defensive end of the ball, then I think Memphis could actually win both of those games. But a lot of times these type games end in a split. So I'm hoping that the Lakers could at least split with Utah. It just all depends on health-wise. I mean, it'll be hard to say. Is Andre Drummond going to play on Saturday? Maybe they sit him and have him ready, because Marcus All did look good last night. But I'm telling you, Jaylen Brown was the baddest mother in town, because he came out ready to play. And if he can play like that, Jaylen Brown right there with that focus and intensity, I'm telling you, even the Brooklyn Nets better have something to watch out for. So I've been thinking about Miami as the dark horse pick in the East, because everybody picking either Philly or Brooklyn. And, of course, you got a few out there who got faith in Milwaukee. But I just really think that Boston Celtics could really make some noise if Jaylen Brown can play the way he played last night consistently, and if Tatum could do the same. So, and then, of course, Marcus Smart, the X factor, if he provides what they need to provide, then who knows, the Boston Celtics, I mean, in the bubble, they were right there last year, but they just couldn't quite get past Miami. But I feel like this is a different focused Boston team this year, but who knows? That's just something that we will see, that's yet to be figured out. But anyway, going back to the Western Conference, which what we really want to focus on is the Lakers, meanwhile, have to play Utah, then Utah again, then they got to come out and play Dallas and Dallas again. And I think I'm not mistaken on that. I'm going off memory, but I'm pretty sure that that's the way it's stacked up. And then after that, finally they get a break, and then they get to play like Orlando and Toronto and Sacramento. So that'll give them a chance to kind of get back right and maybe pull off 3 easy victories in a row. But see, if Portland can lose those games against Memphis, then that'll be good for the Lakers. But also, let's not forget about Dallas, because Dallas is scrapping for that position too, and they could very well move up into that 6th spot as well, and then the Lakers could be down in that 7th spot. So by that time, of course, I was hoping that LeBron James would be back for that Dallas game. That's what I was eyeing, I think, on the 420 or 421. I was eyeing that game for LeBron to be back, but everybody keeps saying the 3 weeks to 3 weeks. So it just all depends. If the Lakers start to fall down in the standings, I think LeBron will go ahead and lace them up and get back out there. But if Anthony Davis comes out and he's looking good, and he can actually, if him and Drummond can play in the front court, and we can take a look at what that looks like minus LeBron James, and they can actually pull off some victories against Dallas, which I think they're more than capable of doing, because Memphis matches up well with them, and the Lakers play a style of play like the Memphis Grizzlies, which they are very scrappy on defense, although you couldn't tell that last night because they were definitely not doing what they needed to do on the defensive end of the basketball. But sometimes when you got a player like Jaylen Brown just going ham the way he was going, then there's nothing you can do about it. And then also, if you look back at the game too, it was very much inconsistency again from Kyle Kuzma and also KCP. Ben McLemore had a good game. I think especially with KCP struggling with the spasms, it would have been nice to get Ben McLemore to start. Caruso didn't have such a good game, and let me get on Caruso too, because while he is a good player and always brings that energy on both sides of the ball, he is shown some inconsistencies too. But I will say this, the Boston Celtics played damn good defense last night. They rotated well. Their defense on the pick and roll was phenomenal. I just want to say that Boston, I'm telling y'all, don't be surprised, especially the way they looked out on this West Coast road trip. Don't be surprised if they start making some noise, because the thing about it is all the games that I just mentioned, that takes us into the next week and a half to 2 weeks. And before you look up and know it, it's May. And then you really only got two weeks of season left. And that means LeBron James, I mean, I really hate that this dumbass rolled into LeBron James' knee like this and kind of ruined the season, because LeBron only got so much time left, and it'll be nice, to watch him play every day, because it's going to be a long time before we see another player come along and be able to do the things that LeBron James is capable of doing and is still doing in year 18. So it's kind of like he robbed us as fans to be able to watch this on display. But maybe LeBron James could make up for it by coming back and being fresh and rallying the Lakers to a lot of victories in the final 2 weeks of the season, just to put them in a good position in the playoffs. That way they can go ahead and make some noise and do what they need to do. But as I've always said, no need to worry, y'all. No need to worry, because if Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Andre Drummond are fully healthy, and Schroeder, I'm just telling you, I don't think there's a front court in basketball that's going to be able to deal with that. I think the best team that would match up with the Lakers at that point would be the Philadelphia 76ers, because the Brooklyn Nets just don't have the defense to deal with something like that, especially with LeBron James. Let's see, I think just by LeBron being gone these past couple weeks has made maybe some people forget how he orchestrates a game. And it's going to be very fun to see. It's been so long since you even seen LeBron James play with Anthony Davis that some of you may have forgot what they're capable of when they are together. So this has been a crazy, crazy season. But the NBA wants to play a shortened season. And I'm not saying that necessarily attributed to all these injuries that we've seen this year. Put down in the comments if you think that that's what contributed to the injuries. Because we have seen a lot of injuries, especially from star players. And normally you may have a lot of injuries and you may not notice it because it's really not to star players. But I mean, man, it was even some fluke injuries. Even LaMelo Ball, was coming out and looking good as rookie of the year. And, he had the unfortunate incident of breaking his wrist. But I mean, we've seen Kevin Durant out. We've seen Kyrie out. We've seen Harden is now out. We've seen LeBron out. Anthony Davis has been out. Luka's been out. Steph's been out. So, I mean, we had a lot of people that's been out this season. And I know it was a shortened season. And it is a shortened season with 10 less games. But, it wasn't a lot of time off considering, last season after the break in COVID. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I did want to mention, of course, the Lakers did have their fans back last night in the Staples Center. So as the COVID situation seems to be lifting, hopefully by the time the playoffs roll around, we can actually get a meaningful amount of fans in the stands. That way we can give it a much better playoff atmosphere and maybe have them all down on the lower level to where they can at least make some noise and cheer their team on to victory. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I know everybody else is too. I want everybody to take a look at the upcoming schedule and just remember, positive vibrations mean everything. So send out positive vibes to your team. You know, that's going to help them out, because even though you're not there in presence to cheer them on, you can still cheer them on from the presence of your own home. So let's not forget that. But we won't talk about the science that is positive vibrations. So maybe people don't believe in it, but the whole world is made by constant moving energy. But that's the subject for another day. So anyway, as always, this has been your boy B New. I just want to say, right on to the real. Much love to the haters, and as always, happy Friday. I'm out.